for Ukraine.
Long-range weapons for Ukraine.
Long-range weapons for Ukraine.
Long-range weapons for Ukraine.
A little bit louder because we want Rishi to hear us. Air defense for Ukraine.
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 Particularly important, I was speaking to a friend on the way to the protest today, and I said, how is everything in Kiev? Is everything stable? Is everything quiet? And no, of course, the Russians attacked again today, and I think up to 4 people, maybe more, were killed. So that's why it's important to arm Ukraine. That's why it's important that Ukraine has the proper air defences. And finally, fighter jets for Ukraine!
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 Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Slava Nazi!
Смерть ворогам!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Україна!
Понад усе!
Наш героям тричі! Слава! Слава! Слава!
Thank you very much, Thomas. Thank you. And just a small little thing I have to say about the speech. Always very well researched and always very straight to the point, my friends. From Thomas here. And I have to say one more thing. Thomas, you don't have to apologize because of the way you speak of this matter, because in this regard, this is very important information, particularly for the Republicans in the United States of America. This is a point, and this is what Thomas has clarified today, very clearly. This is the best way of stopping Russia. It is better to fix a dam when it's cracked than to try to rebuild it again once it's completely broken. And this is the situation Ukraine finds itself in. It was never the choice of the Ukrainian people whether there would be war or not. They were attacked. The person who gets attacked doesn't have a choice whether to fight or not. No, they have a choice whether to die or to try to survive. That was the choice of the Ukrainians. That is their choice now. However, for the West, the choice is different. To help Ukraine win, to arm Ukraine, as has been promised many times in the past, or to allow the innocent people of Ukraine to die, and then to have to face Russia themselves, to have to send their own troops, their own people, their own equipment, to have their own cities leveled to the ground. My friends, so that we stop the deaths of the Ukrainian people, so that we stop the destruction of the cities and of the infrastructure in Ukraine, and so that we do not allow the same crimes committed against the Ukrainian people to be committed against the people of this land and all of Europe. We need to stand together, and we need to be unequivocal in our solution to this problem. All together, we will win.
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 Help Ukraine protect peace.
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 Arm Ukraine as you promised.
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 Just another mention. The speech that Thomas just gave us. Absolutely chilling orders given by the Wagner group to their soldiers. Let's think about that for a second. To kill everybody. Everybody above the age of 15. That is truly a genocide. For any people who think that to call the Russian invasion of Ukraine a genocide, is an exaggeration. I think this information is unbelievably important. The fact that the Wagner was telling its own soldiers, the Wagner leaders, the Wagner group leaders were telling their soldiers to kill anybody who is above the age of 15, anybody who moves, anybody who's trying to flee for their life. That should tell you something. And if you don't understand what that should tell you, well, my friends, those people who do not want to understand will never understand. It is difficult to find a black cat in a dark room, especially when it's not there. Which leads us to the next topic, Tucker Carlson. This individual has been spewing poison at the Ukrainian people for a very long time now. My personal favorite of his quotes was when he started ranting on and on about Zelensky and about the Ukrainian government, about how evil the Ukrainians are. And then at the end, he said that all of this considered, any honest person would know that the Ukrainians were most likely the ones who blew up the Novakhovka dam. I mean, it's ingenious, truly. What a great sort of journalism that he's perpetrating right there. Amazing journalist. Grade A, truly. And it's unbelievably funny that all of the... Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's very funny that all of the idiots are coming out of the woodwork and saying, oh, Tucker Carlson, God bless him, he's giving Putin a choice. He's giving Putin his voice. We need to hear him. We need to hear what he says. Absolutely idiotic. Putin has the resources of a whole country at his disposal. And these fools expect us to believe that he's being silenced? When Putin wants to speak, Putin speaks. Have these people truly not seen the hour-long James Bond villain monologues that Putin has made again and again and again? Have they truly not seen the videos that he released on the day of the invasion? Truly, my friends, sometimes I feel speechless in the face of sheer, unadulterated stupidity. Some things never change. And it seems like propaganda still is very effective, even nowadays. Because some people don't understand that Tucker Carlson is not somebody who can be trusted. That Tucker Carlson is fully on payroll by the Moscovite regime. A crypto-communist, as Jan here has called him a while ago. Very good name, by the way. Very good definition for Tucker Carlson. Somebody who always shills for Russia, always shills for communism, but who will never admit it as such. That's right. He calls himself a conservative. Well, my friends, what kind of a conservative pursues the interests of their enemies, of the countries that want to destroy them? What kind of conservative praises and elevates those same enemies above the people of their own country? That is not a conservative, my friends. That is somebody who is suicidal. But Tucker Carlson is not suicidal, because Tucker Carlson gets a lot of money from the Russian regime. We've seen him in very expensive theaters and hotels in Russia, eating and drinking with Russian propagandists, talking to them, with them saying, oh, this one is normal, this one is nice. Well, of course this one is nice. This one is on your side, on the side of Putin. And truly, the cherry on top of this whole situation of Tucker Carlson going there to bootlick Putin until his shoes are white, truly the best of this whole situation is the fact that Putin was offered interviews by many Western media outlets, and he always denied. So why is it that when the West asks Putin to speak, when the West asks Putin to justify his action, to justify himself, he refuses? But all of a sudden, when this brave journalist Tucker Carlson comes to Moscow and eats and drinks with Russian oligarchs, Putin changes his mind, and with this one, yes, with this one I will speak. My friends, Only a fool would not see this. And we must not be fools. Because if we act foolish, we are bound to repeat the mistakes of the past. It's about time that people have learned not to trust Tucker Carlson. He has been proven a liar and a fraud in the Dominion court case. And he continues to be proven a liar and a fraud right now, as we speak. It is irritating, truly, to see so many people still fawn over this individual, when to expose him is so unbelievably easy. But alas, my friends, we need to continue to speak. Even if the voices of the liars are louder than the voices of the people who are telling the truth, we need to continue to speak. Because if we remain silent, we allow them to act with complete impunity and to do whatever they please. And that truly is the moment when the Tucker Carlsons of this world will take over. And we must not allow that. Coming back to the truly terrifying orders given by the Wagner Group commanders to their soldiers. Not too long ago, I've watched an interview of a Wagner soldier where he was explaining why he started fighting for Russia. It had some funny parts, I have to admit. It had some funny parts. For example, him talking about the payment of the Wagner Group. He was saying it jokingly that nobody in the West would ever fight for such low and insignificant payment as they are given in the Wagner Group, because the brave Wagner Group is fighting for patriotism and not for money. Now that's buyer's remorse, if I ever heard it. That's some proper buyer's remorse right there. For anyone who's not aware, buyer's remorse is when somebody is forced to do something or buy something that is actually really bad, and then they try to convince themselves, oh, actually it's not so bad after all, actually it's pretty good. Pure buyer's remorse, my friends, nothing more. This individual who gets paid pennies to risk his life for a genocidal regime has explained his reasoning behind joining Wagner and starting to fight against the Ukrainian people. But before this, he even said that he never had anything against the Ukrainians, supposedly. Typical Russian nationalist fashion, that if all the peoples around them just quiet down and do as Russia says, then they're good, then they're nice. They can be allowed to live, they can be allowed to exist. But when they start speaking, when they start showing those evil opinions of freedom and independence, no, that is fascism, that is Nazism. And it's very funny that he never mentioned throughout the whole 2-hour interview that the Wagner Group has its name. Because Dmitry Utkin, who had the alias Wagner, was a world-famous neo-Nazi with swastikas on his body, tattooed all over him. Of course, Dmitry Utkin is not important enough. The founder of Wagner is not important enough for somebody who's talking about Wagner. Makes sense? But my friends, what truly was the reason for him to join Wagner? I'm not joking right now when I say this. His main reason, the main reason he gave, was because he watched a video and he read the comments of that video on YouTube, and according to him, 1 in every 5 comments was fueled by Russophobia. I am not joking. This individual joined a cause he had no information about for a genocidal regime because he saw some mean comments on YouTube. You can't make this up, truly. Our enemies, the people who go to fight and die against us, are fighting for mean comments on YouTube. Now this is truly pathetic. It would be funny if it weren't so sad. This kid who was there on this video trying to justify his reasons for joining Wagner, was probably one of the people who started shooting at the Ukrainian civilians because they were above the age of 15. But of course, the mean, Russophobic YouTube comments are definitely more important. Yes. That's the real priority for the proper and peaceful Russians who are only trying to defend their homeland in countries that happen to not be part of their homeland, which is a very funny thing to do, if you ask me. And speaking of which, let's talk about something a little bit more cheerful. Let's talk about the fame of our friend Jan here, who has, with actual bravery, come to the Imperial War Museum to counter-protest against the Russophiles who were there 2 years ago, I believe. 2 years, right? 1 year. 1 year. My bad. I don't want to misinform anyone. 1 year. 2 years and 1 year. That's right, but this video was 2 years ago, correct? No, the video of you talking to him. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We have to make sure that the information we give to people is accurate, my friends. So 1 year ago, he was speaking with these individuals, and one of them came to the camera and started flipping him off, started showing the middle finger. And then he tried to push him, he tried to get physical, he tried to intimidate him. And not only him, a lot of other people who were there supporting Ukraine. So let's get this straight. They, the Russophiles, the supporters of Putin, supposedly have the right to come to the Imperial War Museum, a place unbelievably important for the culture and history of this country, and to support a country who loathes that same history and that same culture. So in a way, they're protesting against the very country they're in, against its existence, against its history. And when people go there and confront them, they get attacked. Why, you might ask? Well, because there were more of them. And this is typical Russophile behavior. If they feel like they have strength in numbers, they will attack. They will abuse you. If they feel like they're not being watched, they will do any kind of crime that comes to their head. That, my friends, is how the Russian terrorist regime functions. At its core, any kind of crime that you can imagine will be done if they feel like they will get away with it. Always. But I would like to once again mention our friend Jan and thank him for coming there with some other people. Will, for example, I remember Will was there on the video. Thank you very much for that, Will. And some other people who also came there and showed opposition to the Russian terrorist regime and support for the Ukrainian cause. So for all of you guys, thank you and keep it up. Personally, I really think it's important for us to counter-protest against our enemies, against our opposition. It happened right here, not too far from us. Over there, where the pig pen used to be. We went there to counter-protest against the Not Our War rally. Pure conspiracists. But it was important to go there and to speak to them. Right over there, that's right, Tommy. Right over there. You remember, you were there. You guys were there, I remember. And we need to continue to do as such, my friends. Because if we do not speak, people will not realize what's truly going on. Even if shills and Russophiles like Tucker Carlson get a lot of undeserved fame, of undeserved clout, that must not discourage us from speaking ourselves, from spreading to the whole world the message of the Ukrainian people and telling everyone that divided we fall, but united we stand together and we win. All together we will win!
All together we will win!